Time now for our rants and raves, starting with Dan Kennedy.
I have a rave for Charlie Pierce, who writes about politics for Esquire. It's a sensation.
Yeah.
Kim Jong-un referred to President Trump as a dotard. Yeah. And I'd never heard the word, and apparently it means somebody who is in their dotage and maybe lost a few feet off their fastball. And as it turns out, Charlie Pierce, in one of his blog posts for Esquire last May, referred to President Trump as a dotard. I missed it at the time, but now Kim Jong-un is only the second person to use this. Charlie went on Twitter and said, "I would like to thank Kim for bringing dotard back."
It's a good one. All right, Adam.
I'd like to rant about something that happens at this time of year, every year, year in, year out, and it is the ceaseless drumbeat of coverage involving all things pumpkin spice. I want to give you a brief sampling of some headlines that ran recently in reputable news sources. Pumpkin spice brings my inner white girl to the yard. Pumpkin spice madness now available in a spray can. Pumpkin spice pizza is the perfect mashup food. And my favorite, I used every pumpkin spice product I could find for a week. Now my armpits smell like nutmeg.
That was on Marketplace.
We don't need these stories. There's no need to keep giving free
Talk
publicity.
about a marketing tool.
Exactly, right. Any new product that rolls out and is labeled pumpkin spice automatically gets free publicity.
Plus, it's horrible.
We've done this for too long. It's exhausting.
Yeah, we need a new fad.
That's why you should have read my commentary last year when I talked about the overload of this and where it came from and how far it was going to go.
So you're like the Charlie Pierce to my Kim
That's
Jong-un.
correct. That is correct.
Okay.
Hey, it worked. You gave him some publicity.
I think this is the last cycle for it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Not that. Nielsen had some. Go.
All right, Callie, what do you got?
There was a report by the Women's Media Center called The Status of Women in the U.S. Media 2017. And what they found is that though there may be a lot of women in journalism schools, when it gets to the actual newsrooms, they're still not anywhere near any management. Well, you know, it's better, but it's not where it should be, and that men still receive 62% of the bylines and other credits in print, online, TV, wire news, and have 84% of the last century's Pulitzer Prizes. So now one person says, well, a lot of women are choosing to leave. And the question is, are they choosing to leave because they get so far and say, you know what, I'm tired of beating my head against this glass ceiling? I don't know. But it's an interesting report and one that quotes from a lot of people that we know who did make it up past the glass ceiling and are not feeling very good about it.
Those who only get so far,
right,
like Jill Abramson, who's there for a couple months and bang, she's out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's right.
Good.
So.
All right, Dan Lothian.
Well, I have a rave for the FBI, and it was enlightening for me in reading about this, where apparently there's a rise in people making threats online through social media, especially among young people. Some are just joking around. Others, and this is a phrase I haven't heard before, they have, quote, keyboard courage. And they'll make a threat against a school or whatever it may be, and it usually leads to a big investigation with authorities. And so this is becoming such a problem that they've put together this public service announcement that they hope will cut down on the number of young people who are doing this kind of activity. And they're using as the focus of this PSA a young man named Jabari Dean, who is a 21-year-old former student at the University of Chicago. And he made a threat online and against his school, and they ended up shutting down the school. And when the FBI finally caught up with him, they found out that he really didn't intend to do anything, but this was just another example of a major problem. So he is now the voice of this public service announcement in the hopes of cutting down on this disturbing trend.
A rave for the FBI. Call
Rave for,
Ripley's.
We've also talked, we should note, there's the question of whether the press encourages this stuff too by, blowing up every single time that someone calls in and says there's a bomb at such and such a high school. Local news trucks roll out. We put it online. We put it on the radio.
Didn't used to. That's a new thing.
Yeah.
Right.
We talked about it here.
Yeah, I know. We used to avoid those things. And any kind of a bomb threat, nobody ever covered those.
Well, not to echo the pumpkin spice conversation, I feel like the pendulum is sort of swinging back in that direction.
Yeah, I hope
we
so.
had a whole flurry, and I think now we take them a little less seriously.
All right, I have a rant tonight, and I hate to do it for PBS, which is carrying the excellent documentary series Vietnam. My rant is that they're going along with government-enforced censorship and bleeping the program. So last night there was 5 or 6 bleeps, so every time there's the S word or the F word, and this is combat, this is war. My only point is, and I got a nice note from PBS explaining why they're going along with it, that this would have been a good opportunity to challenge that law. This is not gratuitous profanity. It's not indecent. It's not obscene. It's what happens in the course of war. And that's what I say. I know that PBS has fought this in the past. They fought it with Frontline one year and lost it. And, of course, CBS ended up paying that fine during the Super Bowl a few years ago with the Janet Jackson incident. But this is an opportunity, I thought, that was lost.
Well, as you know, in Eyes on the Prize, we fought it, and we won. There was one, maybe it was because it was one word, the F word, in one episode, but we really thought, the guy's got to say it. It doesn't make any sense in the context. And it was even more shocking because it came from a person saying something in a church. So, but that was years ago, and it made it on.
Well, I'm with you. I mean, I think we're long past the time when we should be bleeping out, especially in a serious documentary like the Vietnam series.
Yeah, I agree.